Great tailgating today. The I-94 rivalry renewed. We're at Miller Park. The homestand continues. The Chicago Cubs are here for 3. It's the Brewers and the Cubs here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. She keeps you dry and warm when it's nasty out and when it's wide open. Enjoying all the elements of outdoor baseball here at Miller Park. The roof is opened up. It's the Cubs and the Brewers. Fans from both sides getting settled in, ready to start this 3-game set. And hi, everybody. We welcome you from Miller Park alongside Bill Schroeder. I'm Brian Anderson. Great to have you with us today. We always love this matchup between the Brewers and the Cubs. Admittedly, they're a little more likable with so many former Brewers on their coaching staff and as their manager in Dale Swaim. But today the Brewers are going to send up Kyle Loesch. He is no familiar opponent to these guys. He knows this team very well, pitching his days with the St. Louis Cardinals. And Kyle Loesch has actually been pitching very well lately.
And he has. He's had a very good month of June, but career against the Chicago Cubs, he's only 4-4. But look what he's done in his last 5 starts. Now, this Cub lineup, very aggressive. And they like to swing early, like to swing for the long ball. Kyle Loesch, that off-speed approach. You see what he's done, 3-0, a 135 earned run average in his last 3 starts in the month of June. He's been outstanding. The problem for Kyle, he's only got the 1 decision in 4 starts, but just has not gotten a lot of run support. He needs some runs early, and Loesch continues his good success against the Cubs.
Brewers are looking for another series win. They'd love to get it started on the right foot tonight. Gene Segura and Starlin Castro, 2 of the great young shortstops in the game. David Elson with a breakdown when we continue. We'll kick it out to Craig and Davey after this on Fox Sports Wisconsin.
Save big money on all your home improvement needs at Menards. By Miller Lite, it's not just a good time, it's Miller time. And by Toyota, let's go places. Back inside Miller Park. The foul line all striped up and ready to go here for our first pitch. Craig and Davey back on board here on Fox Sports Wisconsin. It's always fun to look at comparisons by position, and tonight a natural one with Gene Segura at shortstop and Starlin Castro of the Cubs as well. two-time All-Star not in the lineup because he's struggling right now. Segura, though, on the other hand, making a big bid for the All-Star game.
Well, he certainly is. The way that Gene Segura is playing, he's making a strong bid. And, you know, the two shortstops are very similar. You know, Gene Segura surprisingly has very good pop, but, you know, when I look at the two of them and I watch Gene play, he's got a lot of power, but he has great speed. So does now Castro. He doesn't have the type of speed, but they're both good athletes. There's some athleticism on the field. Segura, I think, has a little better, softer hands. He's not as flashy, makes outstanding plays. And you look at the comparisons there, you know, the thing that Segura has, I think, more than anything else, is that he's a little younger and he's so much more playing more experience.
Yeah, the game experience really stands out right now in favor of Castro. Segura well on his way. Kyle Lohse, 1.35 ERA in his last 3 starts. Ready to pitch against the Cubs. It's coming up next.
Segura leading the charge for the Brew Crew, getting set for the Chicago Cubs led by Dale Swaim. Brewers and Cubs come in with identical records, 31 wins, 43 losses, trying to break free from the cellar of the National League Central Division in this series. And let's give you the starting lineups for the visiting Chicago Cubs, brought to you by Piggly Wiggly. Luis Valbuena will lead off and play third base. Darwin Barney in the 2-hole batting second with Nate Schierholtz in right. Middle of the order is Soriano, Rizzo, and Sweeney, with Castillo, Ransom, and Jackson rounding it out. Edwin Jackson and Kyle Lohse, former teammates, matching up against each other tonight.
Yeah, 15th start for Kyle Lohse. He needs some run support tonight. He's had a very good month of June, although he's only 1-0. He's given up only 6 earned runs in 26 innings. That covers 4 starts. The Menards Brewers defense behind Kyle Lohse today. Caleb Gendel gets a start. Ryan Braun continues to have problems with that thumb. Logan Schaefer out in center field while Gomez recovers from that shoulder injury.
Check the 4-man umpiring crew. The crew chief Jeff Kellogg is behind home plate. Paul Schreiber, Adam Hamari, and Eric Cooper on the bases. And the first pitch is in there for strike one, and away we go from Miller Park on what has turned out to be a beautiful night for baseball. Still some cloud cover out there, but the roof just opened up as we hit the air tonight, which is great to see. Always enjoy the roof open in the summertime here in Milwaukee.
Yeah, especially when there's humidity and when the roof is closed, it can get hot inside, but opened up, cools off considerably.
Luis Valbuena leading off for the Cubs. They have 4 left-handed hitters in their starting lineup tonight. And as Rock mentioned, no Starlin Castro in the starting lineup. He gets a day off for the first time this season. As a matter of fact, his long consecutive games played streak, at least starts, ends here today. He could get a pinch hit at bat later. And Valbuena sends one over the head of Segura for a base hit. And that's how the night begins for Kyle Lohse. Cubs are coming off a series victory against the Houston Astros, taking 2 out of 3. Valbuena just sneaking that over the head of Gene Segura.
Yeah, that series was at home at Wrigley Field against the Houston Astros. The Brewers lost 2 out of 3 to the Astros in Houston before this homestand.
Yeah, the Brewers coming off a series win against the division leading Braves. They lost Sunday, but they won the first 2 games. As Barney gets a bunt down, Lohse shovels it to first just in time to get Barney. A very good bunt. Goes as a sacrifice for the Cubs second baseman and a runner at second.
Yeah, but certainly bunting for a base hit. Didn't look like a sacrifice. A little bit early in the game to be sacrificing. And that's a bunt for a base hit, trying to push that ball towards second. And Lohse able to make the play.
Well, Dale Swaim, a lot like Ron Renicky as far as his lineup is concerned right now, trying to do everything he can to create runs. A lot of the Cubs struggles have come from down seasons from some of their pillar players. One guy who's not struggling, having a very good year, is the man at the plate, Nate Scherholtz. Has a career best 10 home runs now, hitting .296 with 29 runs batted in. See the Cubs down at the bottom half of the league in team batting average, right in the middle of the pack in runs per game. Actually do hit some home runs, but you got Castro out of the lineup. You got a struggling Anthony Rizzo. David DeJesus is on the disabled list with a shoulder injury, so they're not even close to 100% either. But that's the one bat right there, Starlin Castro, that Swaim knows he's got to have back soon if they're going to score any runs.
Yeah, most of their everyday guys are having a tough time. The guys that fill in are swinging the bat pretty well. But the Cubs' biggest problem is their bullpen.
Yeah, Swaim has Kevin Gregg closing games now. Chicago released or designated for assignment is the proper terminology. Carlos Marmol today. That was quite a shocker from this side of the fence, but talking to Cubs folks today, that was expected and welcomed in a lot of areas around Chicagoland. Carlos Marmol at one time one of the premier closers in the game, designated for assignment by the Chicago Cubs, so they have, I think it's 10 days at this point to work out
10 days, yeah. A trade, release him or send him down to the minor leagues. And Marmol would have to agree to go to the minor leagues. Don't see that happening.
Very similar to what happened with Juan Francisco of the Brewers. He was DFA'd by the Braves, and then there was a trade worked out between Atlanta and Milwaukee. Chris Bosio, the former Brewer, the pitching coach, trying to reorganize his bullpen. There are a lot of familiar faces over there in that Cubs dugout among the coaches. Swaim and Bosio, Jamie Quirk.
Yeah, Rob Deere, but you're not going to see him in a dugout. He is banished to the clubhouse.
Right?
He is the assistant hitting coach, but he's not able, because of the number of coaches that the Cubs have, to sit in the dugout during the game.
Scherholtz pulls that one foul, just foul.
That's kind of the situation with John Shelby last year.
Seems like a lot of teams, Rock, are going with the assistant hitting coaches. We saw the Braves with the former Brewer Scott Fletcher. He was the assistant hitting coach to Greg Walker. You think about the pitching staff as having the pitching coach and the bullpen coach working hand in hand, and now it's very similar with the hitting as well, as Loesch strikes out Nate Scherholtz for out number 2.
They got him on a fastball up and in. And Loesch is, that's actually the cut fastball coming up and in on him. Well, it was a fastball, but a cut fastball. It's been a good pitch for Loesch. They've all been working for him pretty well in the month of June after a tough month of May.
It's got to be so frustrating for Loesch, who was a 16-game winner last year, as he faces Alfonso Soriano swinging away at the first pitch. And Loesch should be the first to tell you everything went right last year. When he left games when the Cardinals were trailing, they would typically come back. And you go through a major league season and lose only 3 games.
Yeah.
You're doing something right, and you're getting some breaks.
That's a good curveball by Loesch to start out Soriano.
It's not a pitch he throws often. Comes back with a breaking ball and a strike, and it's 0-2.
Kind of a defensive swing by Soriano off the plate. Got a couple of pitches to play with. Don't need to throw a strike.
No balls, 2 strikes. Runner at second. And Soriano strikes out. A foul tip into the middle of Lucroy. Good start for Kyle Loesch. Couple of Ks. And a scoreless first inning. Ron Renicky and the Brewers trying to continue with series victories. That is the mantra moving forward for Milwaukee. Piggly Wiggly starting lineup for Renicky's Brewers today. It's Aoki, Segura, and Lucroy batting third for the first time. Ramirez, Francisco, and Weeks in the middle, with Logan Schaefer, Caleb Gendel, and Kyle Loesch rounding it out.
And a couple of blow-up starts have that earned run average for Edwin Jackson up around 5.5. 15th start for Jackson. And his career against Milwaukee. This is his 8th major league team. Last year he spent the season with the Nationals. You check out the Menards Cubs defense. Notice that Starlin Castro is not in the lineup. Cody Ransom makes a start. Starlin Castro has a consecutive game streak of 269 going, second best in all of baseball.
Yeah, second only to Prince Fielder of the Tigers. Longest streak going in the National League. Nori Aoki leads off for the Brew Crew. Jackson delivers down and away. Now, Brewers are without Braun. He's still on the disabled list. Carlos Gomez is still going to be a day or two, or maybe even the series. Not with that shoulder injury. So 2/3 of their starting outfield. Aoki is the lone starter who remains at this point.
Yeah, not much confusing to hitters about the delivery for Edwin Jackson. Very deliberate in the beginning. And a good push off and a follow through. He's going to basically throw 3 pitches at you. Fastball, slider, and cutter. He'll throw a curveball once in a while, but not too often.
Now Jackson and Kyle Loesch, despite being former teammates with the Cardinals, also had a free agent year in common this past offseason. And when Edwin Jackson signed a 4-year deal with the Cubs in January, I'm sure Kyle Loesch thought his multi-year contract was coming quickly as well. Jackson signed a 4-year $50 million contract with the Cubs. Kyle Loesch ended up with a 3-year deal with the Brewers, just over $30 million, and had to defer a lot of that and didn't sign until right at the end, the last week of spring training. Aoki bounces out for out number 1.
Yeah, Jackson has moved around quite a bit. His 8th team, as I mentioned, but he's never been with a team more than 3 years. That was the Rays, the Devil Rays, actually, for 2 years back in 06 and 07, and the Rays in 08. Every other team he's been with very short period of time.
A familiar opponent for the Brewers for the most part, although there are a lot of young faces in that Brewers lineup tonight. Gene Segura with one away. It was an original lineup that came out earlier today that had Segura batting 3rd. That lineup was changed, putting Lucroy in that spot with Aoki leading off. And Segura gets the tower buzzed, and down he goes.
And Jackson watches the video and reads the scouting report. Segura covers the outside corner very well, comes up and in, and just to keep Segura honest off that corner.
Well, if there was ever any doubt who the Cubs pitching coach is, you need only look at the hit by pitches and the inside pitching. Chris Bosio, who said he learned that from Pete Vukovich as a Brewer, and that's what he preaches to his Cubs pitchers. You have to establish the inside.
Yep, the Cubs pitchers have hit 29 batters. That's second most, or I should say 4th most in the National League. You know, the Pirates, they've hit 40 guys this year.
You see Segura stands close to the plate anyway. 3 balls and a strike on Gene Segura. He sends it back up the middle. The Gold Glover Barney with a fantastic play for out number 2. Not much gets through that side of the infield.
And that's about the best it gets at second base in all of baseball. Talking about Darwin Barney, a Gold Glove last year, and has not committed a single error in his 60 games this year, and makes that one look pretty easy. Good backhand play and a good flip over to first base.
Barney had that long consecutive errorless game streak last season. It ended at 141, which tied a major league record last season, winning his first Gold Glove. So 2 up and 2 down, and here is Jonathan Lucroy. Lucroy in the 3-hole in the batting order for the first time. There's a giant hole in that Brewers lineup without Ryan Braun, whose thumb injury continues to be a problem. And while he was eligible for this series, Braun's going to be a while. He is not close to returning at this point. A right thumb injury for Braun.
Yeah, so what you do is you put your best overall hitter, at least lately, in Jonathan Lucroy at the plate in that number 3 spot. Luke's been hot, hitting almost 280. And he's been particularly good against Edwin Jackson, 6 for 17 with a couple of home runs.
You can't argue with the results from the top 2 hitters, Aoki and Segura, and I think that's where it ended up for Ron Renicky. He wanted to keep those 2 in place, move Lucroy into the 3-hole in front of Ramirez, And then you turn the lineup over to a lot of young hitters at that point. As Lucroy lines one to right, going to be run down by Scherholtz. So a 1-2-3 inning for Jackson. We head to the second.
Out to Miller Park as your Milwaukee Brewers host the New York Mets Friday, July 5th through Sunday, July 7th. For tickets, call 414-902-4000 or visit brewers.com. And hopefully Carlos Gomez will be back by then to face one of his former teams, as he is recovering from a sore shoulder. He crashed into the wall on Sunday, and Ron Renicky said before tonight's game that is a possibility that Gomez could miss the entire series against the Cubs. As you take a look back at Sunday's crash, Gomez landing very awkwardly against that wall, jamming that left shoulder in, putting a lot of weight on it. He's still very sore. He thought he would be okay after a couple days, but unfortunately he's not ready to go. But it should only last this series, and that's if Ron Renicky can keep Gomez out of the lineup. Yeah,
you know, Gomez is ready to get back in there. Thank you, Telly. And good to give him a breather today. A little flare down the right field line that's going to fall for a base hit. Ryan Sweeney on his way to second. So a ball that didn't look like it was going to have any slugging percentage tacked on to it, but it is a double for Sweeney.
Yeah, Sweeney's done a nice job since coming up. I mean, .316 batting average, and has shown himself to be a pretty good defensive outfielder out there in center field, with David DeJesus on the disabled list.
Well, the Brewers are hopeful that Gomez can get back in there by the end of this series, possibly tomorrow. That's a more realistic date, would be Thursday, the day game. Tomorrow's a little stretch for Ron Renicky. Wouldn't commit to that. And the way the Brewers have been hoping their players would return, it's not working out well. So I think Renicky is erring on the side of caution.
Well, defensively, it's fortunate that it wasn't the throwing shoulder, but offensively, not so fortunate, because that lead arm, that arm that gets the bat through the hitting zone, that's what's really going to give Gomez some problems. And he's got that violent swing, and you got to make sure that that shoulder is at least pretty close to 100%, or you can be missing him for a while if he re-injures it.
So a couple of young kids get the starts. Logan Schaefer, Caleb Gendel. See if they can make the most of it today. That one is popped up. Foul territory. Lucroy's giving it a look, and just out of his reach.
And missed it by about a row.
Wellington Castillo at the plate for the Cubs. Good looking young catcher here. And he takes a strike. 2-2 on Castillo. Interesting note about this series with the Cubs for the Brewers here at Miller Park. Milwaukee has won 18 of the last 20 games against the Cubs in this venue. That includes 8 consecutive victories against Chicago, as Loesch strikes out Castillo, his 3rd K.
They took something off that last pitch and put it in the perfect spot. Check it out. Right on the outside corner, and the curveball called for a strike. See Lucroy reaching for it, making it look a little bit closer to home plate. 73 miles an hour, and he gets the call.
That's a pitch you haven't seen a lot of from Kyle Loesch, the slow curveball. He's thrown a number of them tonight, though, using it as a bit of a change of pace. Here's Cody Ransom, a Brewer last year, getting the start at shortstop here tonight. Bouncing ball to third. Ramirez gobbles it up, and the throw is up the line, but Francisco gets the tag on him, and that will end the inning. So Kyle Loesch has given up 2 hits, but no runs through the first 2 innings with 3 punch-outs. Brewers are coming to bat. The birthday boy, Aramis Ramirez, will lead off.
Our tweet for Sweet Night. Now, these fans are here because they've already shown their support for #VoteBrewers by voting for their favorite Brewers players to the All-Star game. And Bishara, one of our Fox Sports Wisconsin girls, is here to tell you how you at home can vote for your favorite Brewers.
All they have to do is go to brewers.com. You can vote 35 times per email address. So we encourage you to do that so we can get some of our Brewers to the All-Star game.
All right, BA and Rock will be here all night long, and we'll get updates for you throughout the game.
All right, Sophia, thanks. That's a good gig for Sophia, hanging out in the suite tonight. Head to the bottom of the second. The Brewers coming up, and Aramis Ramirez ready to lead off, celebrating his 35th birthday today. Longtime Cub, and his first at bat against his old team. And Rocky is sitting on 1,999 career base hits.
Yeah, it'd be nice to get that milestone 2,000th hit, get it out of the way. He's currently 15th on the active roster for most career hits, just behind Torrey Hunter right now. Those are the kind of numbers that you look at with respect to Ramirez, and it puts into perspective how good he has been throughout his career.
Well, over 1,200 of those hits came as a Cub over 9 years. As a matter of fact, Ramirez is still on their all-time hit leaderboard in Chicago. He's 23rd all-time. Cap Anson is the all-time Cubs leader in hits, if you're wondering. Over 3,000 hits. And then you have all the recognizable names, Banks and Billy Williams and Ryan Sandberg, Mark Grace.
It's surprising to me in looking at that list that there's only been one Cub that's had 3,000 hits in his career.
And that was Cap Anson back in the Wayback Machine. One ball, 2 strikes on Ramirez. Upstairs for a ball.
Yeah, Ernie Banks never had 3,000. Billy Williams. I mean, I never thought about it, but I guess Ernie Banks was what, about 400 shy of 3,000. He had 500 home runs.
2583 for Ernie Banks. That was his hit total. Slow roller. Ramirez not running well, and Valbuena takes care of him for out number 1.
And frustrating for Ramirez. If he was healthy, he probably would have been able to beat that out. Still being dogged by that left knee strain.
Well, and Edwin Jackson has retired the first 4. How to bring up Edwin Jackson. Bring up Juan Francisco against Edwin Jackson. I beg your pardon. I got him pitching and hitting.
That's tough to do.
Francisco comes in hitting .216 overall this year. 6 home runs and 22 driven in. Most of that production coming as an Atlanta Brave. Francisco's lone home run as a Brewer came in Cincinnati. Opposite field home run. Hit it off the foul pole in left field, as a matter of fact. We still haven't seen one of those patented moon shots off the bat of Juan Francisco that he's known for. Hitting just .156 as a Brewer, has 1 homer, 6 RBIs.
You can see that rotation with the shoulder. That's something that Johnny Nairn and Francisco are working at very hard in the batting cage. Just, not so much of a rotation and spinning off the baseball. Well, he's strong enough where he really doesn't have to wind up and swing the bat.
2 balls and a strike. Well, Francisco had an RBI single against Tim Hudson the other day, and that was a textbook plate appearance for Francisco, and I'm sure one that Joe Crawford, the video coordinator, will clip off, and trying to take what you're practicing into a game. A very smooth, easy swing. Got a hitter's count, and Francisco sends this one a mile high. That ball's got a chance. Back to the fence, leaping, and it's gone. Juan Francisco with a rainmaker for a home run. Good thing the roof was opened up.
Yeah, that's what you get from Juan Francisco. I mean, he is so strong. I mean, he didn't even come close to getting that baseball. Popped it up essentially, but he's so strong, able to carry it out of here down the line and right. Home run number 7 and his second as a Brewer. Look how strong he is. Down on the end a little bit. He popped it up and it just kept carrying. That's how strong he is. And the Brewers on the board.
That's about as high as you can hit one and still hit one out. That thing was a mile high in the air. Francisco with just enough. I don't know many players in the big leagues who can do that. Maybe Adam Dunn. You think about some of the big left-handed sluggers.
And he's strong. I mean, he packs a punch. But it's all about timing for Francisco. It's got to be just right.
Maldonado saying he's going to get the big head. So that's the second Brewers home run for Francisco. 1-0 Brew Crew here in the second inning. And here's Ricky Weeks. sounded like, looked like a fly ball out that had enough on it to go out of the ballpark.
That ball went straight down. I think it literally went straight down. Like he dropped it from an airplane.
Like a good wedge. And players call it backspinning a baseball, and he put a lot of backspin on that one.
It gives you a sense of why this guy really doesn't need to wind up and try and swing the bat too hard. I mean, his natural strength takes over when he just puts a nice easy swing on the baseball.
2 balls and a strike on Weeks. That ball's hit well. Deep right center field. Scherholtz in front of the wall makes a catch for the out. Second out of the inning. Ricky gave it a ride. Just didn't quite barrel it up, did he?
Think about Edwin Jackson. Everything pretty hard out of his hand. I mean, the fastball, the slider, the cut fastball really doesn't have much to slow your bat down. The change up or the curveball. You go up there, you know you're going to get something with something on it, and you really don't have to worry too much about something off speed.
Now 2 gone, and here is Logan Schaefer. A couple of left-handed hitters at the bottom of the order for the Brewers. Schaefer and Gendel. 4 lefties in all in the starting lineup for Renicky today. Schaefer making his 23rd start of the season today, and just his 5th in center field. That's his natural position. He is an excellent defender. He's been mired in a bit of a slump himself. He has just 2 hits in his last 26 at-bats. And that hit him. Jackson comes inside, drills him on an 0-2 pitch. Well, that's a mistake from the Cubs pitcher.
And not even close. 30th hit batter by the Cubs pitching staff. They got him in the top of the foot in that low calf area. Hey, tonight's time of the game winner, Beer Bellies in Milwaukee. If they call the Brewers in the next 24 hours, they get 40 Miller Lite beer pen tickets to a Brewers home game this year. This offer courtesy of the Tavern League of Wisconsin and Miller Lite.
Well, 2 gone with a runner at first after the hit batter. And here is Caleb Gendel. By the way, Brewer batters have been hit in each of the last 7 games, totaling 8 times hit by a pitch in the last 7 games. So a little target practice with the Brewer hitters as of late. You don't figure that number to let up in this series. Not with the philosophy of the Chicago Cubs.
Yeah, they like to pitch inside, every one of them. And that's, as you mentioned, is that Chris Bosio theory. Keeping him off the outside corner. Pitch him in, keep him honest in, and try to get him out of the way. Boz had no problem if he missed with one to get a piece of you. He'd rather do that, and he teaches that, as opposed to leaving one out over the plate. If you're going to miss off the plate.
The author of a no-hitter is a big league pitcher, Chris Bosio, with the Mariners. Snap throw to first, and out is Schaefer. Castillo has a cannon for an arm, and Schaefer just found out and picked off with Gendel at the plate. But Juan Francisco hits a rainmaker over the fence in right, and the Brewers have a 1-0 lead. Head to the third inning. Carsoup.com email the booth question. Can you explain the Brewers' dominance against the Cubs at Miller Park of late? Brad in Milwaukee.
I'm not sure there's any real reason or thing you can put your finger on, other than the fact that the Cubs have had a rough stretch here for the last couple of years. The last 2-3 years, the Cubs have not done very well overall, but particularly poorly. At Miller Park, the Brewers have won 18 out of 20 games and have been able to better them in just about every statistical category. You have different players on the team coming in and out year after year, and it's not so much that these players are spooked by Miller Park, because Cubs will tell you they love to play here. They see the baseball well. They know they're going to play. They've got the roof, comfortable clubhouse areas, and they just have had a rough time winning here.
Well, the Brewers swept the Cubs here at Miller Park in April as Jackson lines one to right. The Cubs pitcher singles to right field to start the third inning.
Every time you see a pickoff, no matter where it is, at second base or first base, watch the catcher's feet. How quickly his feet get in position. And once you're able to do that, the throw takes care of itself. That's a tough thing to do. You can see Castillo cheating a little bit with his feet. He was kind of awkward in his setup, anticipating the throw to first base. And because of that, he was a lot quicker getting in position.
Schaefer picked off with Gendel at the plate. Castillo.
Check out the feet. The feet are on an angle in that direction. And because of that, he gives himself a little bit of a head start in spinning around and making the throw. See the back foot well behind the front foot. And that is a very quick, accurate arm down to first base.
And he picked the right pitch to throw to first with that inside pitch right over the back of Gendel.
That's probably why he called it there. Because if that pitch is away, you can't really, you're not really in a position to be able to make a pickoff throw.
Back to the top of the order in Valbuena. And a strike to Valbuena.
And the best pitch to throw to third base is a pitch up and in on a right-handed batter. So you can get your momentum going before the pitch gets to home plate. If that pitch is away, you really can't do that.
A leadoff base runner at first on the Jackson single. The 1-2. Valbuena sends it in the air to left. Gendel sizes this one up, and there is out number one.
Hey, the Travel Channel and host Adam Richmond will be at Miller Park July 19th to the 21st, looking for unique tailgate setups, one-of-a-kind traditions, and recipes to feature on the show Fandemonium. Visit brewers.com/Fandemonium for details. He's a pretty funny guy.
Yeah, I like Adam Richmond.
Man versus food.
That's what I feel like when I'm with you on the road. Man versus food.
Back in the old days. Food's been winning.
There's a soft liner into right field. That's down, a base hit. Well, Oki really had Darwin Barney covered down the line in right field. And playing deep as always, so that ends up as a single. And 2 on for the Cubs here in the third inning.
Barney, not a big threat offensively, but he will hit it where it's pitched. Oki not able to get there on that soft liner out there in the right field.
So Loesch has given up 4 hits, 3 singles and a double. And with 1 out, here is Nate Schierholtz. Schierholtz coming to the Cubs from the San Francisco Giants. He was a 4th outfielder with the Giants last season, part of that World Series championship ball club. But he saw an opportunity to play every day or most days with the Cubs and decided to take his wares to Chicago, and it has worked out well for him. He's 29 years of age. Split time between the Giants and the Phillies last season.
I'm playing every day. He's able to hit some home runs, and certainly a lot easier to hit home runs at Wrigley Field than it is in San Francisco.
Well, the Giants sent Sherholtz to Philadelphia as part of that Hunter Pence deal at the trade deadline. And then his contract expired, a free agent. Signed with the Cubs with the hope of some extra playing time. And he's hoping to turn it into another contract. He's swinging the bat well. 10 home runs this season for Sherholtz. First time in his career he's hit double-digit home runs. Two balls and a strike, 2 on with 1 away. And that ball's hit high and deep right field. That ball's got a chance. And that ball is gone. That's a 3-run home run for Sherholtz. And just like that, the Cubs take the lead. Every home run is a new career best for Nate Sherholtz. That's number 11.
They tried to come in on him again. You remember Lowe struck him out on a cutter up and in. And this time it looked as though Sherholtz was waiting for it. That was actually a four-seam fastball that he tried to get in there. Didn't. And Sherholtz, with the quick bat, able to loft it on out of here down the line and right. Not much doubt about that one off the bat.
So a quick 3 runs for the Cubs.
All started by Edwin Jackson, the pitcher, with a base hit to right.
Still just 1 out. Here is Soriano. Soriano comes in with very good numbers against Kyle Loesch. 377 hitter lifetime against Loesch with 4 homers. Pulled it over to Ramirez. And there is out number 2. Now, Cubs do hit some home runs. They are currently 4th in the National League in home runs this year. Anthony Rizzo has 12. Sherholtz now with 11. Even Cody Ransom, who is essentially a platoon player, a role player, he has 8 home runs for the Cubs.
Wind must be blowing out a lot at Wrigley Field.
Yeah, I saw a study on Wrigley Field, and when they talk about ballpark effects and how it compares to the rest of the league, you define it as a hitter's park or a pitcher's park. And actually, Wrigley has always been thought of as a hitter's ballpark, especially in the summertime. But that trend is changing a little bit depending on the wind patterns. Well, Sherholtz gives the Cubs a quick 3 on the board.
Night in our Fox Sports Wisconsin suite. They're here because they've already voted for their favorite Brewers, supporting the hashtag Vote Brewers. And so tonight on our AT&T Twitter poll, we're asking fans what has made Jean Segura most All-Star worthy. Is it his offense, his defense, or his speed? He has been tremendous. And Jim, you've already voted for Jean Segura. Why is he an All-Star?
Well, I'd like to say all of the above, but if I have to vote for one, offense.
BA and Rock, the fans here in agreement. What do you guys think has made him All-Star worthy this season?
All right, Sophia, thanks. I think his cooking skills made him All-Star. He's an excellent cook, you know.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm going to go with his offense, because I think offense is what ends up ultimately getting you to the All-Star game.
Yeah, if you have good defense and you can run, that's not going to get you there. You got to be able to hit, and he's done plenty of that.
While Ron Renicky appreciates the defense and puts that first on his list, it's certainly the offense that has separated Segura from a lot of others, as Caleb Gendel sends Soriano deep to left on the track. He makes a catch. And one away here in the third inning. Gendel gave it a ride.
Well, that ball's carrying pretty well tonight. I didn't think that ball was hit that well, but it just kept going back further and further, and I think that's a result of the roof being opened. Boy, it was hot and muggy during batting practice with the roof closed. The charter high-speed pitch, Edwin Jackson up to 93. He can get it up to 95 if he wants to. And Loesch, as usual, around 91.
Well, now Loesch trying to return the favor after Jackson got a base hit to start the third, and led to a 3-run inning for the Cubs on the Sherholtz home run. 3-1 Chicago here in the bottom of the third inning. Loesch, a little flare, shallow center field. That's down for a base hit. So Kyle Loesch comes up with another hit. Had a lot of backspin on it. Talk about checking it up on the green.
And didn't hit it all that well, but able to keep the bat in the hitting zone for a while with that one-hand release. And you let go of that bat with one hand to keep it in the zone. Sometimes it's in and out very quickly, and you know you're in trouble. You let it go and it'll stay in the hitting zone long enough, and he was able to get a hit.
That's Loesch's 4th hit of the year. See if the Brewers can take advantage. Back to the top of the order now, Nori Aoki. That hit by Loesch, the second of the day against Jackson. Francisco had the home run last inning. Aoki struck out in his last at bat against Atlanta on Sunday. That's big news these days for Aoki. He's only struck out 17 times this season, the best ratio in the big leagues. Plate appearances per strikeout. He is at 18.6 plate appearances per K. And he pulls that one over to first. Nice play, Rizzo. And no chance to turn two. Jackson a little late covering. Unlikely they were going to get Aoki anyway.
He hit it hard, but unfortunately right at Rizzo. The fact that he's a left-handed thrower helped him there. Able to catch it on the forehand, and that throw for a left-handed first baseman very easy. But nobody at first base.
So 2 gone, and Aoki will replace Loesch at first. We've already seen the arm of Wellington Castillo. See how aggressive the Brewers want to be on the base paths today. And they got him. Another pickoff. That time Jackson picks off Aoki. 2 base runners eliminated from first base. And not a good start for the Brewers offensively in that regard. Deli, the official supermarket of Fox Sports Wisconsin. By Ho Chunk Gaming Wisconsin, your ticket to more. And by Marshfield Clinic, don't just live, shine. Oh, check that out, Rock. Beautiful rainbow up above Miller Park. A great shot. Picture perfect night here at Miller Park tonight.
Yeah, hopefully the weather's going to clear up and have a couple of nice days before the Brew Crew heads out on the road again.
Ryan Sweeney lifts this one into right field for Aoki. And one gone here in the fourth.
Doesn't seem like the team's going to be home very long, and then right back at it. Did you pick up your stuff yet from the cleaner?
I did. I'm all ready to go. Brewers will leave Thursday afternoon after the game. Got a 3-game series over the weekend in Pittsburgh, and then a 4-game series in Washington, D.C. We'll be spending Independence Day in our nation's capital.
Part of it anyway. It's an 11 o'clock start.
That's right.
Eastern time. I mean, that's about as early as I've ever had a game start.
And a morning start in the Central Time Zone with the Brewers. Breakfast with the Brewers on the 4th of July.
Yeah, come back in time for some fireworks.
That's a great time of year to be in the Midwest. Summertime, 4th of July. Summerfest is kicking off. Loesch with a ball and 2 strikes on Castillo. He was a strikeout victim in the 2nd inning. Loesch got him looking on a curveball. And there's that same pitch, and Castillo is ready for it. Castillo thinking about 2. He's on his way. Gendle's throw comes in a little off the mark, and the Cub catcher with a hustle double into second base.
And he was thinking about second base as soon as he hit that baseball. That's good hustle. You don't have to be fast to be able to take an extra base. You just have to do it right away. He thought about 2. As soon as he hit the baseball, that was a hanging curveball that time. Close to a perfect curveball on the outside corner his first time up. And Gendle's throw a little bit off the mark.
So the Cubs with 6 hits already. And a runner at second with 1 out for Cody Ransom now. Ransom certainly has big power. Always gives you that home run threat. Swaim's got him in the 8th spot in the batting order in front of Edwin Jackson tonight.
You got to be careful with him. You see those 8 home runs.
It's a bouncing ball to Segura. He goes to third, and Castillo, he is cut down. Boy, some terrible base running in this game by both teams.
Yeah, 2 pickoffs, and I'm not sure what Castillo's thinking.
He just cost Ransom a base hit. The only out Segura had available was at third base.
Yeah, you learn that stuff in Little League right there. You don't advance to third base on a ball hit in front of you, especially when you can't run all that well. And that's about as easy as it gets at third base. Castillo just gives up. Base running. Wow.
Brewers have had 2 players picked off first base. Mistakes you can't make, and the kind of mistakes that send you to the bottom of the division.
When you're already having a tough time scoring runs, you can't give up outs on the bases like that. I'm talking about the 2 pickoffs for the Brewers as well.
Well, here's Jackson with 2 away.
And you think about it, Castillo running on that. That's the easiest play Segura had. That would have been a tough throw to first base. Little chopper in the hole, and he did Segura a favor.
Jackson takes strike 2. Count evens at 2-2 with 2 away. Jackson not hitting this year like he has in the past. He's just 3 for 23 this season. He's got a home run in him every now and then. There's a fly ball right center. And Aoki will make the call. He's got it for the final out. Low Schwartz a scoreless 4th. Base running blunder by the Cubs. Castillo. Take you back to some of the highlights from yesterday at the Irish course at Whistling Straits. Davey Nelson's celebrity golf tournament. Great time had by all. Look at Telly. Telly's getting good now. Davey with a nice drive. All to benefit the Open Arms Home for Children in South Africa. It's not too late to make a contribution. You can go to brewers.com/Davey to find out more information. Great job. Davey Nelson had one of the biggest turnouts to date. And a fantastic venue, the Irish course at Whistling Straits. You notice there were no Craig Kashawn swings in that video montage. He was a participant, but when you run the pregame show, you can order what shots you want.
Yeah, well, I told him to quit like I did.
Our Feltco All-Star voting update in the National League. Gene Segura still sitting at 3rd behind Troy Tulowitzki, who has over 3 million votes, and Brandon Crawford of the San Francisco Giants. Gomez still 11th. Ryan Braun dropped to 5th. And Braun most likely will not be able to play in the All-Star game anyway. But make your voices heard. You can vote up to 35 times per email account. And we're trying to encourage you, all of those listening to our voices tonight, if you can vote up to 35 times per account, then we'll be seeing a couple of Brewers at the All-Star game. Certainly deserving choices in Segura and Gomez.
Yeah, with Tulowitzki out, I mean, there's nobody better at the position right now than Gene Segura. Deserves to be there, and right now deserves to start.
Segura comes in 4th in the league in batting, a .336 hitter. He leads the National League in hits. Segura is also the league leader in triples. He's tied with Gomez in that category.
There's another guy that deserves to be in the game. Carlos Gomez.
No balls, 2 strikes on Segura. And Jackson spikes it in. You know, Gene Segura is the only player in the big leagues that has at least 10 home runs and 20 or more stolen bases right now. Segura second in the league in steals with 23, just outside the top 10 in home runs. Segura has hit 11 home runs this season,
There's nothing he hasn't done well this year. Every aspect of the game of baseball, he has excelled at a very young age and has not been out there at shortstop all that long.
Hits that ball hard to right, but right at Scherholz for out number 1. We start getting into some of the metric statistics for Jean Segura, and they jump off the page at you, especially when you consider what he is doing at the position at shortstop, one of the most valuable positions in the big leagues. It's amazing he's been able to keep his offense up like he has. Lucroy takes a strike. I think one of the knocks you hear about Segura from outside Brewers camp is the fact that he doesn't walk much. But I would argue that's his position in the batting order on most days, especially with Ryan Braun hitting third. He doesn't have an opportunity to walk.
Is that all they've got on him?
That's about it.
All right, I'll give you that. Right, he doesn't walk much, so he's hitting .333.
He's hitting much.
That's a compliment, though. I mean, if that's all you can come up with negative about Segura, I'll take that.
I don't know a lot of 2-hitters that do walk a lot if they have a substantial 3-hole hitter behind them, which most lineups do in the big leagues, and especially the Brewers. I think had it gone the way Redicky had originally booked in with the batting order, with Segura batting 8th, he'd have twice as many walks. But that lineup changed quickly with the advancement of Segura at the plate.
No, you're right. That spot in the batting order, probably the least walks of any in that batting order because of who's batting behind you. You're right. And it's not like he swings at bad pitches. They just throw him strikes.
Well, Lucroy occupies that 3-hole tonight. Gomez has been in there most of the time with Ryan Braun on the disabled list. Lucroy for the first time tonight. Well, Jonathan Lucroy, he's found his power stroke lately as well. He has 8 home runs. Gomez is the club leader with 12. Segura with 11. Segura homered on Friday night against Atlanta.
Well, the other thing about Segura walking is the fact he doesn't swing and miss all that much. I mean, he's only struck out 36 times in almost 300 at bats. And the fact that even when he has 2 strikes and swings at a pitch out, he gets a piece of it and gets an infield hit.
Yeah, the league leader in infield hits, Segura. He's got an outside chance, and it's a long season, a lot of games remaining, but he is on a pace at a Brewers franchise record, or to get close to one, as Lucroy whistles that one foul.
You can only imagine what he very well may be able to do once he does get a little bit more disciplined at the plate. He's only 23.
It's incredible. Pitch number 7 coming from Edwin Jackson. Another 1-2, and Lucroy chases one. Down he goes on strikes. So 2 outs in the inning, and we send it down to Telly.
Fans, get ready for Fox Sports 1, America's new 24-hour sports network. Fox Sports 1 will be your home for great live events, all the news and highlights you want, shows and specials that only Fox could bring you. America's new sports network is Fox Sports 1 VA. It's coming August 17th.
All right, Telly, thanks. Looking forward to that. A lot of baseball coming up next season on the One. So here's Ramirez now, still a hit shy of 2,000 in his career. First time up, Ramirez bounced to third base, a slow roller. Brewers have just 2 hits against Edwin Jackson. Francisco hit a home run in the 2nd inning.
There's one of the few curveballs that Jackson's tried to spin up there and just kind of didn't do much. Maybe that's why he didn't throw many. Didn't have a very good feel for it.
A lot of fastballs tonight from Edwin Jackson. Going with the slider this time. 75% fastballs for Jackson, and the breaking ball is in there for a strike.
And those fastballs, that includes the cut fastball. And all but maybe 1 or 2 of those off-speed pitches are sliders.
Another tapper back to the mound this time by Ramirez. And that'll be an easy inning for Edwin Jackson. 1, 2, 3. Brewers retired in order.
Lead over the Brewers. Let's take a look at our minor league report. We're going to feature Nick Ramirez for Brevard County. He had himself a night last night, going 1 for 4 with a 2-run home run. That was his 16th home run of the season with 51 RBIs. So BA Nick Ramirez putting up some big time power numbers for Brevard County.
Oh, yes, he is. And that is not a power hitters league. The Florida State League. That's a pitchers league. They play in all the big league spring training stadiums. And you don't see power numbers coming out of that league very often. I mean, that's saying something right there.
Yeah,
15 home runs.
A lot of humidity in those ballparks, and most of the time that means the ball's not going to travel all that well. There's some impressive performances from some of the guys down in the minor leagues in the early going this year.
Valbuena pops up an 0-2 pitch, and Francisco will make the call. He's got it for out number 1. Well, we've been talking about the All-Star game a little bit. We are inside 3 weeks to that point. Citi Field in New York, the home of the Mets, the host site for the MLB All-Star game. July 16th, exclusively on Fox, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central. How many Brewers will make it there? Always enjoy the All-Star game. The Brewers will finish the first half in Arizona, take a 4-day All-Star break, start the second half here in Milwaukee as Barney lines one to center Schaefer for out number 2. And you wonder what kind of trade activity is going to be going on. Both the Brewers and the Cubs are, I'm sure, being called upon by a number of contending teams at this point. Trade deadline is the end of July. I'm curious to see if there are going to be any early deals done. You might remember in 2008 the Brewers acquired CC Sabathia just before the All-Star break. He actually made a start the day before the All-Star break. And there are fewer teams involved in trade discussions at this time of the year because the second wild card team has certainly kept a lot of other teams in it.
Hey, look at the American League East. Every team is over 500 coming into play today in that division. Toronto's in last place in that division. They're 5.5 games back.
Yeah, they just had an 11-game winning streak snapped last night by the Rays. They plowed their way back into the division race. I heard an interesting stat today, or read an interesting stat today. The Astros have scored more runs than the Yankees this season.
Wow.
That is a wow, isn't it?
Well, they put up 10 runs against the Brewers in the first game of that series.
Brewers did their part to help them a little bit. Now the Rangers are surging right now. Texas leading the American League West. They've won 5 in a row. They've got Yu Darvish on the mound tonight in New York. It's a high fly ball, right field line, and that's going to hook foul.
And sure, all of a sudden, look at that fastball in from Kyle Oates. It's a dangerous spot against him right now.
I think she thought she had to give it back for a minute. And I said, no, you can keep it. She's a very polite young lady. Here you go. Here's your ball back. Oh, no. No, you get to keep it. Oh. Cool. The 1-2. Scherholtz off the end of the bat, center field. Schaefer, and he cannot come up with it. Scherholtz on his way to second. The throw comes in late. Schaefer, normally a very good center fielder, but he just whiffed on that one.
Yep, got a little bit of a late break on it. And a line drive that you would think he'd be able to catch. He just missed it. Let's see what they call that one. The official score. Could give him an error on it because he got there. He just missed the baseball. And because he was coming in so hard, it took him a while to get it. And Scherholtz able to get into second base.
It's going to be scored as a double for Scherholtz. A 2-out hit. And Soriano takes a ball. Soriano with this year and next year under contract with the Cubs. He might be a guy some teams have an interest in. Take a look at the Firestone Complete Auto Care Extra Mile. Alfonso Soriano, second only to Pujols, most doubles since 2001. Soriano's had some big years. Remember, it was Swaim who put Soriano back in the cleanup spot. Mike Quaddy, when he was managing the Cubs, had Soriano hitting down in the order, 7th or 8th.
Dale Swaim told Soriano before spring training last year, I need you and I need you to be productive. You're going to be my cleanup hitter. And he responded.
2 balls and a strike. Got a runner at second with 2 outs, and Loesch will check on him. Soriano's had a terrific career. He's actually had a little bit of a resurgence with the Cubs. He did last year. He actually drove in over 100 runs last season. Hit 32 home runs. Pulls that one to Ramirez. And a low throw picked by Francisco to end the inning. So Loesch gets through the 5th. 3-1 Cubs.
Seen some questionable base running tonight. Logan Schaefer getting picked off. A nice throw by Wellington Castillo to pick him off. And then Oki. A quick move from Edwin Jackson. And then you saw Castillo at second base with 1 out. For some reason he takes off. A bouncing ball hit in front of him. And so 3 outs have been made on the bases. Not aggressive mistakes, but just bad base running.
Well, the 2 pitchers giving up home runs here tonight. Francisco got Jackson in the 2nd inning, a solo home run. And then a very similarly hit ball by Schierholtz, not quite as high, but a little bit deeper into the seats. Nate Schierholtz, a 3-run home run in the 3rd. So that's a difference in the game right now. The Cubs have 7 hits. Brewers have 2. Francisco with 1 of those on a towering fly ball home run back in the 2nd. It's tough to change your mechanics in the middle of a season, which is what Francisco is trying to do. I think the fact that he got first traded from the Reds to the Braves, then essentially released by Atlanta and designated for assignment, was a bit of a wake-up call for him. He's only 25 years of age, and the book on Francisco is that he has not been willing to change the way he approaches his hitting. Johnny Nairn was saying it's been just the opposite since he arrived in Milwaukee. He's really wanted to quiet down that swing a little bit.
I think it's easier to have less movement. I mean, it's easier to go from a lot of movement at the plate to a lot quieter in your approach than it is to go the other way around. Add some movement to your approach is much more difficult.
I'm always fascinated by the plan that these coaches put in place for hitters who aren't performing well, and you could put Ricky Weeks in that category too, but it's a plan that you look ahead 2-3 days in advance, depending on if you're going to play that particular day against that starting pitcher, what your workout routine is going to be like, what your fix going to be that day. Francisco draws the walk, so a patient hitter to start the 5th. And it's time to take a look at our Lowe's home improvement never stop improving stat. Last 13 games for Weeks. hitting for a .405 batting average, has 3 home runs, 5 runs batted in, and talk about a specific plan that has involved practice time, time to work out mechanics rock, and where he's not playing and he knows he's not going to play on that particular night, or at least start. And I think the days off and feeling fresh coming to the ballpark has a lot to do with it as well.
I don't think there's any coincidence that the fact that because Ricky's not grinding it out every day and has been given some time to work on some things, and it's paid off. It's benefited him greatly. If he was in a place before Jeanette came up and playing every day, he just couldn't fight his way out of the problems that he was having. It snowballed on him, just could not fix it. But he's shown signs recently of swinging the bat much better.
Weeks put into that platoon with Scooter Jeanette. That platoon has softened a little bit. Ricky is getting some starts against right-handed pitching. Even right-handers that he doesn't necessarily have good numbers against. Jackson's a good example of that. Weeks is 3 for 15 lifetime against Jackson. Does have a home run, but just a .200 batting average.
But if you're swinging the bat, I mean, put him in the lineup. I mean, that's the thing. I mean, you know, numbers are one thing, but if you have a hot hitter who's been swinging the bat well, throw him in there, especially when you're Ron Rennie. You're looking for guys to get on base and get base hits. With all the hitters that the Brewers have out of the lineup. Try different things. You know, guys in different spots in the batting order, move them around. That's where the Brewers and Ron Renicky are right now.
It's just like fishing. Find the right lure.
That's right.
Stick with it. Sometimes it takes a while to find the right lure, though. And they're hoping Weeks keeps biting. Two balls and a strike. Got himself in a hitter's count. And Ricky rips one into left center field. That's going to go to the wall. Actually, Soriano cuts it off, but Francisco's got a chance to score. He'll run through a stop sign. The ball is dropped, and Francisco scores. He and Ed Cedar almost collided around third base. That would have been a collision for the Asians. But Ricky Weeks drives in a run with a double, makes it a one-run game.
And Soriano didn't have a very good throwing arm out there in left field, and to make matters worse, it was kind of bobbled out there. Eddie started him initially, and then he stopped him, but Francisco, I mean, he's not a guy that can put the brakes on that quickly. I mean, he's kind of a big guy. He was waving him around right there and then stopped him. It wasn't a very good play on the cutoff. It was dropped, and he's able to score easily.
Yeah, he's more like an SUV than a sports car.
Right. You can do that with Carlos Gomez.
Right.
Not with everybody.
So that's an RBI double for Weeks. It's 3-2. And here is Logan Schaefer now. And a good cut. Fouls it back. Oh, Ricky really hit this ball hard. Soriano did a good job to cut it off.
That throw wasn't that bad either. Ordinarily, he's not very good, but if they get it right there, they have a play at home plate. Barney dropped it.
We'll see if Schaefer can do the same. Tying run at second. And Schaefer out in front. Good breaking ball from Jackson.
The speed differential for Jackson has been around 84 to 93. He's flipped up a couple of curveballs, but you know that's not much of a difference in speed to really mess up a hitter. You know, no change-ups, only a couple of curveballs. And when you do that, you better locate well.
Bounces it in off of Castillo. And Weeks will end up at third base. A severely wild pitch for Edwin Jackson.
And the second time he's done that. The other time he did it, nobody was on base. This one bounces well in front of home plate. And you just got to hope you get lucky on a pitch like that. Really no practicing a ball that bounces 3 feet in front of home plate.
That is his 9th wild pitch of the season. That's a lot. Puts a runner at third, forces the Cubs infield in. Nobody out. Schaefer a chance to drive in a run. And Schaefer pulls that one to first. Rizzo's right there. He'll go to the bag for the out.
That's the way it goes sometimes. Hit that one right on the nose, unfortunately, right at the first baseman. Hit that one well. You can't hit it any better, but Rizzo with a nice backhand pickup and gets the out. Hey, Sunday, July 7th, the Brewers take on the Mets at 1:10 p.m. and all fans in attendance get a Hank Aaron bobblehead, compliments of U.S. Cellular. Visit Brewers.com for tickets.
In his Milwaukee Braves uniform, Hammer and Hank. Gendel shoots one through the middle of base hit, and in to score is Weeks. Caleb Gendel not wasted any time. His first major league RBI.
And one of the best fastballs from Edwin Jackson when you consider velocity. 94 that time. And Gendel getting a good look at him his first time up. Able to hammer that one right back through the middle with the drawn in infield.
Ties the game at 3. Brewers with 2 on the board here in this 5th inning. All started with a walk. So here is Loesch now, likely up there to bunt Gendel to second. Loesch had a single his last time up. Has 4 hits for the season now. Loesch and Jackson, part of that World Series title team with the Cardinals. Back at 11, Jackson will make the play to first. Sacrifice bunt for Loesch. That's his 3rd sacrifice. And he'll put Gendel into scoring position with 2 outs. Subway in-game box score as we get to the 3rd time through the batting order. Brewers doing some damage at the bottom half. Francisco has homered and walked. He scored twice. Weeks and Gendel with the RBIs in this inning. Cubs have out hit the Brewers 7-4. All 3 of the Cubs runs came with 1 swing of the bat by Scherholz. 3-run homer in the 3rd. 3rd time through can be a charm against Edwin Jackson.
I think that's a result of really only having the firm speed on his pitches. Not much as far as off speed. And 3rd time through that batting order, you get the zero in a little bit and put some pretty good swings on it.
Jackson coming off a loss against St. Louis his last time out. Did not get through 6. 95 his best fastball thus far. 77 with a breaking ball. And there's a curveball strike.
And one of the few that he's thrown for strikes.
Yeah, the speed range looks normal, right? But he doesn't throw many at that speed.
About 3 of them. And the first one for a strike. He just threw to Aoki.
Gendel at second, representing the go-ahead run. And that skips in. Gendel will stay put. Almost another wild pitch. Jackson is currently tied for the National League lead in wild pitches. After the wild pitch that got Weeks to 3rd base earlier in this inning.
Well, you know that going in because Steven knows when Jackson's on the mound, he's going to be busy working up a sweat.
2-1 to Aoki. A good block back there by Castillo. 3 balls and a strike on the Brewer leadoff hitter. The thud of a perfectly stopped block baseball. Just deadens it right at home plate. No chance for Gendel to take third.
Yep, right off the chest.
So Aoki has turned it in his favor as well. Jackson behind a lot in this inning. 3 balls a strike. Jackson deals, and that one's high and tight. Aoki draws the walk. So the second walk of the inning issued by Jackson. He's walked 2. He's hit a batter today, and now he'll have to deal with the Brewers' best hitter in Gene Segura.
Castillo and Jackson really trying to work that curveball in. He threw a couple of them to Aoki. One of them for a strike. Here comes Chris Bosio, maybe just to give Jackson a breather. That's about as fast as Bosio can get out there. He's had nothing but trouble with those knees, and he's not trying to stall for time. That's just about as fast as he can go.
Reminds me of Lou Piniella when he was managing the Cubs, and that meandering route he would take to the mound.
Bosio's sprinting compared to Lou.
Bosio still lives here in Wisconsin.
Yeah, up in Fox Valley.
And I'm sure on occasion he and Edwin Jackson share no-hitter stories. Bosio's came as a Mariner. Edwin Jackson threw a no-hitter pitching for the Diamondbacks against Tampa Bay, his old club. That was back in 2010. Bosio's came against the Red Sox in '93. And some question that he might not even start that day for the Mariners.
Yeah, he was sick.
So the meeting at the mound is over, and here is Segura against Jackson. 2 on, 2 out. Tie ball game in the 5th. Segura is 0 for 2. He's hit the ball hard twice. Hit a shot on a hop to Darwin Barney in the first inning. And then he lined out to right his last time up. Hit that one on the nose as well. That's the last move a pitcher has that should be outlawed. They took away the fake to third this past offseason. Second base is the only base you can fake a throw to if you don't step off.
Yeah, that's next.
I think it is. And Segura takes a strike. Well placed fastball.
Cutter right on the outside corner. And the definition of a balk is an attempt to deceive the runner, whether it's on purpose or not. And that move, that inside move, that's to deceive the runner. And that's the definition of a balk.
Trying to convince the runner you're going to make a pitch to the plate, hoping you can pick him off. Jackson has already picked off one Brewer today at first base. He got Aoki. That was in the 3rd. And another inside move. One ball, one strike. Segura patiently waiting on the next offering from Jackson. This is badly.
And he's in no hurry to get the ball back to home plate, is he? Particularly with men on base. He doesn't work quickly regardless, even if there's nobody on base, but really slows things down when he's in trouble. Most guys will do that. More deliberate with men on base.
2-1. Segura late fouls it away. Maybe he just got bored. Decided he was going to swing.
Yeah, what a strike, that's for sure. I think it was one of those I didn't mean to. He started it, but that wasn't even close to home plate.
The video wall encouraging Brewers fans to get loud here. 2-2 with 2 outs. An action pitch here. Jackson certainly doesn't want to go to a full count, give the runners a head start. And Segura down the right field line. That is going to go to the track. In to score is Gendel. And Aoki will be held up around third base. Segura made a wide turn at second. It's going to be a double and an RBI, and the Brewers take the lead on the Segura base hit.
How about that approach for Gene Segura? He swung at a pitch out of the strike zone to even to count at 2. And then a pitch outer half, and Segura takes that good approach and inside outs it right down the line and right. Thought for a minute that Ed Cedar was going to send Aoki, but he gave him a late stop sign. That was heads up base running by Segura because he was thinking about third base. You got to run with your head up. Segura did that, and he's able to hold up at second. You see the late stop sign again.
Probably had a lot to do with Darwin Barney getting that throw from Sherholtz. Sherholtz did a nice job cutting that ball off. That saved another run from scoring. And now it's Lucroy who fouls it back.
That's the thing about Ed Cedar. I mean, he wants his runners to think about scoring and not slowing down, and he's going to read that throw. If it's on the mark and it's right at one of the cutoff men, he's going to hold him up. If it was offline, he's going to send him.
And it gives Lucroy a very good hitter, the best the Brewers have with runners in scoring position. A chance to add 2 more. By the way, that hit by Segura extends a hitting streak to 8 games, and that is his 100th hit of the season. That's the most in the National League. It's the 3rd most in the major leagues. Only Miguel Cabrera of the Tigers and Manny Machado of the Orioles with more hits this year in the big leagues.
Yeah, 100 hits in 75 games. Not too bad.
Lucroy trying to clean him up here. 2 on, 2 out. And that breaking ball giving Lucroy fits. Jackson struck him out on a slider in the dirt his last time up.
And he's shaking his head. He can't read it out of his hand too well. And Lucroy's had very good success against Jackson before tonight. Down in the dirt.
And Lucroy had a .353 batting average with a couple of home runs against Jackson prior to tonight. He's 0 for 2 tonight, although he did line out in the first. One and 2 now. Another one in the dirt. Can't blame Jackson for trying. That's been a strikeout pitch for him with Lucroy. It's his only strikeout today. Two and 2. Boy, Jackson taking a long time between pitches here. He's got the one he wants. And Lucroy shoots one foul. Not a bad idea.
I got the fastball up and in and tried to push it down the right field line.
You get a pitcher who takes this much time between pitches, you always think about the defenders behind him.
They fall asleep too.
Yep.
Takes forever.
Doing what you can to stay loose and connected. Another 2-2 on the way from Jackson. And Lucroy, a base hit to left. 2 runs will score. Aoki and Segura. Lucroy stops at first. A 2 RBI single, and the Brewers a 6-3 lead now. As Jonathan Lucroy drives in number 41 and 42 for the year.
Yep, I tell you, he has been money as of late, driving in runs. Too many catchers with 42 RBIs on the season. I know Molina's got a bunch. Lucroy with a 2-strike approach, a slider that's up, and he hooks it down the line and drives in a couple of runs. The Brewers with a couple of 2-out base hits to drive in 3.
And Lucroy comes through again. Boy, what a hitter he's been. Swain will take the ball from his starter. We'll take a break. Of the game, and the Brewers with a couple of 2-out hits. Gene Segura delivers an RBI double. Ed Cedar holds up Nori Aoki, sensing Jonathan Lucroy was ready, and he delivered. Lucroy a single, driving in a pair. Our Jimmy John's freaky fast delivery as the Brewers go from 3-1 down. A 5-run 5th inning, and they now lead it 6-3.
Yep, and 3 for 4 with runners in scoring position in this inning. Coming up big.
Segura extends his hitting streak to 8. You're talking about catchers, Rock, driving in runs. Jonathan Lucroy now has 40 runs batted in as a catcher. And he is tied with Yadier Molina for the most runs driven in by a catcher in the National League.
And Molina plays a ton more games than Lucroy. Molina very rarely gets a day off. Lucroy, splits time with Maldonado.
All but 2 of Lucroy's RBIs this year have come when he has been in the game as a catcher. That ball gets by Castillo as Hector Rondon comes in to pitch for Jackson, and that just looked like a straight pass ball from Castillo. Not sure if he was crossed up or not.
That planked it, and that was a strike.
Wow.
Did he call it a strike? Looked like he wanted to call it for a strike, but they a lot of times an umpire is not going to call a strike if a catcher doesn't keep it in the mitt.
Now Ramirez now with a chance to drive in another run with Lucroy at second base. It would be fitting that his 2000th career hit was a run producing hit. He's been such a great run producer throughout his career. One ball, one strike. And Ramirez a little late. 1-2 the count goes.
Yeah, Rondon is a Rule 5 pick from the Cleveland Indians, which means he has to stay in the big leagues with the Cubs. If they send him back, then the Cleveland Indians can reclaim him
for a small fee. One-two. And Ramirez down on strikes. But what an inning for the Brew Crew. They score 5 in the inning. Some big 2-out hitting for Milwaukee. Ricky Weeks driving it a run. And Caleb Ginda with his first major league run batted in. Segura extended a hitting streak, and Lucroy brings in a pair. A 5-run fifth. 6-3 Brewers. Fifth inning, Anthony Rizzo set to lead off. Rizzo has bounced around between organizations, started with the Red Sox, then to the San Diego Padres, eventually with the Cubs as he sends one down the right field line. Extra base hit for Anthony Rizzo. Well, not wasting any time against Kyle Loesch.
Yeah, big inning for Loesch right here. This is what you call your shutdown inning. Offense able to get him 5 runs. A breaking ball up in the strike zone. Ordinarily, you flip up a curveball first pitch. Guy's not going to swing at it, but Rizzo able to get a good piece of it and rip it down the line.
And here's Sweeney now. Now Rizzo was drafted by the Red Sox in the 6th round. Theo Epstein and Jed Hoyer were together in Boston at the time. Hoyer then went to San Diego from Boston and reacquired Rizzo, or reunited with Rizzo. And then, of course, Theo Epstein and Hoyer come back together as president and general manager of the Chicago Cubs. And that was a big piece that they wanted from the Padres. They've always believed in this kid, and
well, they believe in him. He just signed a 7-year deal.
A monster contract.
I'm telling you, this is his 2nd year this year. He played 136 games, hit 16 homers, 57 RBIs, and is rewarded with a 7-year deal.
He's been in a big slump as of late, but he is one of the pillars of the organization. He and Starlin Castro traded to the Cubs for Andrew Kashner, And then he was on the big stage in the World Baseball Classic playing for Team Italy this spring at the WBC. And you see a young player who's bounced around that much, a prospect like Rizzo, it makes you wonder about a lot of things. But in this case, it just had to do with the guys who liked him the most and knew him the best changing jobs. The management of the Chicago Cubs, and now what they call the Theo Trio in Chicago, with Theo Epstein, Jed Hoyer, and manager Dale Swain. Of course, Swain's connection with those two goes back to the Red Sox days as well, when Swain was the third base coach. They were together in that World Series championship team in '04. There's a little flare. Segura is out and will run it down. Gene Segura fetching that baseball with ease for the first out.
And how quickly he gets to full speed is just as amazing as anything else he does. Watch him. He gets a good jump on it right there at about 2-3 strides. He's on his way and makes that play easily. He catches it. He's not happy and content with that. He turns around to see if he can get a double play.
So one gone, and here is Castillo now. Well, these contracts you're talking about, Rock, the Cubs signing Rizzo to a 7-year deal. And it has a chance, if you factor in all the options, it could take him to the 2021 season. He's essentially in the same spot Segura will be in, and a player you have under your control for 6 seasons once they arrive to the major leagues. But a lot of teams, and the Brewers have done this as well with Ryan Braun and Giovanni Gallardo, they are signing these young players before they get to free agency to long-term deals, trying to keep them with the organization.
Yeah, there's risk to both. You know, you eliminate arbitration, you eliminate your free agent, at least early on. That's the risk for Rizzo. The risk for the Cubs is maybe he gets hurt or maybe he doesn't amount to much. That's a long contract, though. That really is, for a guy that really, if you think about it, is unproven.
Well, the Cubs did the same thing with Starlin Castro, signed him to an 8-year contract. A contract that began last season. And to your point, Castro is now on his long-term deal, and he has been a struggling hitter this year. He's supposed to be one of the best shortstops, one of the best offensive shortstops in the league as well, and that hasn't panned out this season.
Hey, hitting .228, 3 homers, 24 RBIs.
Bouncing ball right off Loesch. He knocks it down, throws to first in time for the out. We'll see if he's all right. Looks like he's okay. Let's see where it got him. Right in the thigh, it looked like.
As long as it doesn't hit that knee or one of the bones on the side of the knee, you're going to be all right.
See the other starters applaud the effort. Gallardo and Estrada. Dave Yeager is out, athletic trainer, just to make sure. Therein lies the difference between a star player and a role player. You got the manager, the trainer, the umpire, the entire infield.
Well, the one thing they're concerned about, I mean, obviously we talk about it all the time, but you know, if you have a problem with your knee or your ankle or a leg problem, you know, they just want to make sure he's okay, because he'll change his mechanics and maybe hurt the arm. You don't want that. Kyle Loesch has to be thrilled that he's got 6 runs on the board.
Yeah, Brewers haven't been scoring many runs for him this year. He's putting together a very good month of June. Loesch has given up just 6 earned runs, now 9 earned runs in 31 innings in the month of June. Slow roller Ransom over to first, and Francisco will take it himself, and that's the inning. So one pitch after he's hit by a liner, he's able to get to the dugout. Brewers putting 5 on the board. We had the home 5th. Sausages racing between innings of the 6th. And Milwaukee enjoying a 6-3 lead. All 3 runs for the Cubs coming with one swing of the bat. That was Nate Scherholz back in the 3rd inning. Kyle Loesch 10-2 in the dugout. He's all smiles, enjoying the run support tonight. And a chance to pick up a victory here this evening. Loesch is only 2-6, but an ERA of 3.68. He's really bounced back after a rough month of May. He had an ERA over 6 in the month of May. But Rock, you pointed out some of the elbow tightness, discomfort that he experienced in May. I think that had a lot to do with his lack of success during the month. Francisco pulls that one fair down the line. And that's going to get down into the corner, and on his way to second base is Juan Francisco, putting together one of his better days as a Brewer.
He's been on base all 3 times, a home run and a walk, and now a double. Brewers looking to add on here in the 6th inning. Rondon about 92 to 94 with a fastball. There's a 4-seamer. Tried to get it inside, but Francisco looking for it. And pulls those hands in, the hips open, and able to get the barrel of the bat on it and keep it fair. Nice piece of hitting by Juan Francisco.
Well, Francisco, that work paying off, starting to see some of the results of a lot of extra time of early hitting with hitting coach Johnny Nairn and John Shelby.
Talking about over-rotating on his setup, and you know, when you do that, you just spin off the baseball. But the one thing about that is, by over-rotating and spinning off, you can handle a fastball in pretty well.
Ricky Weeks rips one deep right center, and that ball is gone. 2-run home run for Ricky Weeks, and the bat's coming alive. That's his 7th home run, now 3 RBIs tonight. And the Brewers are up 8-3 now.
Ricky's hit the ball hard every time up. That fly ball to right almost got out of here his first time up. A double in the left center, and then a home run to right field. I mean, driving a baseball to the opposite field. Check out Weeks, 4-seamer, out over the plate. He goes right with. That's a nice, easy swing. You talk about not over-rotating. There's a perfect example of it. That front shoulder stays closed. And the hands take over.
Schaefer pops this one up in the infield. That's the first out of the inning. Crowd still buzzing after the Weeks home run.
Nice and easy. Just throw the hands in the baseball, and that ball just jumps off Ricky's bat.
That ball had some heat on it, too, when it went over the fence. Well, Ricky Weeks, boy, his numbers are starting to improve. It was a long, extended slump. Well, Ricky Weeks now with 4 home runs and 8 runs batted in over his last 22 games. He's hitting around 350 during that stretch. That's a pretty significant stretch of games.
And the key is he's going to right field, and he's doing it with power.
Gendel off the pitcher's foot, thrown to first by Ransom, is in time to get the out. Nice play. There's 1-6-3 as we check in with Sophia. Has been hanging around the suites tonight, still up there.
We are, and Brewers fans taking in a great comeback win here by the Crew. Hopefully they pull this one out. And BA, these fans are here in our Tweet for Sweet Night because they've done their part to vote for the Brewers for the All-Star game. Sean, you've been voting Brewers all season long. Which Brewer do you most want to see at the All-Star game?
Sophia, I think you got to go with Carlos Gomez. Over the past calendar year, batting over 290, more than 25 home runs, getting on base at a good clip, and his center field defense has been about as valuable as anyone in the National League.
I'll take that argument. So Sean's voting Carlos Gomez, and coming up in the 7th, we'll get an update on what fans think of Gene Segura's candidacy, right, Brian?
All right, thanks, Sophia. How about this play by Ransom? And he takes care of Loesch. Wow, that was nice. Ransom with a couple of terrific plays to end the inning. And Loesch making a bid for a second hit. Comes up a half a step short. 8-3 Brewers. We head to the 7th. By the Wisconsin Lottery, reminding you to please play responsibly. And by Miller Lite. It's not just a good time, it's Miller time. Beautiful night in Brewtown. Ricky Weeks, a home run, a 2-run shot makes it 8-3 Brewers. Francisco reaching on a double to start the inning. Kyle Loesch with 6 innings. He's given up 3 runs on 8 hits. Scherholtz had the 3-run home run with 1 out in the 3rd inning. And 3 strikeouts for Loesch. He also has a hit tonight. Well, this is turning into one of those nights for the Brewers, and specifically 2 guys that have found the depths of a slump and mechanical flaws. They're both coming up with big nights tonight, and Juan Francisco and Ricky Weeks.
And the results of hard work and not giving up. Most hitters are going to go through slumps. Some big long slumps, but some guys that are blessed with the ability, like a Ryan Braun, that doesn't have to deal with that too much. But you got to fight your way out of it. That's the key. That's the difference between big league players and guys in A-ball. The guys that are mentally strong, that can fight through those tough times.
Julio Bourbon pinch hitting for the Cubs. Sean Camp is loosening in the bullpen.
Because when you're going well, you can lose it very quickly, and sometimes it takes you a long time to get it back.
It's such a game of failure. I give Weeks and Francisco a lot of credit. It's tough to make those kind of changes, especially for Francisco. I mean, the kind of changes that you've been talking about with the rotation, that's such a habit for him. He's hit that way his whole life.
And Ricky really hasn't made any physical adjustments. It's more of the mental adjustments. I mean, just working on it and staying quiet with his bat and not a whole lot of movement. I mean, that home run was a perfect example of what he's been trying to do.
Fly ball to right. Aoki is there for the out.
Now check out Francisco. This is where he's talking about the over rotation. He does not do that. He's got a lot of movement in his swing, both at the top and at the bottom. The front shoulder stays pretty secure and doesn't really rotate too much, and he's able to get the bat head out. Now watch Ricky. Barely moves the front shoulder. It's all hands for Ricky Weeks, and you have to be a handsy hitter to be able to hit the ball to right field. And here you see them both. Look at the movement from Francisco, but he keeps that front shoulder fairly locked, and both of them having good results. You got to keep that front shoulder locked down. You got to keep it tucked. You can't move it too much and spin it off, because you really don't have anything left but your body. You can't use your hands when you're spinning around with your body.
And one of the swing thoughts for Francisco was to be more Weeks-like with the rotation, not as much rotation. Well, that was great, Rock.
That's all truck work right there.
Very helpful. Good instructional right here in the middle of the game.
There you go.
So you're done the rest of the night.
Consider
Take
it done,
the rest
right?
of the night off.
All right. That's amazing the way down in that production truck that they can superimpose those two together. That's cool.
And you see the mental image that Johnny Naren's been trying to get to Francisco. That ball's hit hard to center field. And look at Logan Schaefer. As Valbuena is yelling at him around first base, Schaefer takes an extra base hit away.
Yeah, that's a beauty. I mean, that's what we see from Logan Schaefer all the time. We see him in spring training. Plays relatively average depth out in center, and he's got to get on his horse and at full speed able to bring the glove up. You see how late he put the glove up. He ran as hard as he could, put the glove up at the last minute, because if you put that glove up too soon, you slow down. There's another instructional we just knocked out.
That was nice. You are a teaching fool tonight. Fly ball to right. Aoki used two hands, or one. Well, Logan Schaefer makes a terrific catch. Loesch with a shutdown inning. One of the best of the year from the young outfielder. victory over the Cubs. Ricky Weeks and Juan Francisco having terrific nights at the ballpark. Each have homered. Weeks has driven in 3 runs. Kyle Loesch getting some run support tonight. 7 strong with just 3 earned runs allowed.
And that's a month worth of runs for Kyle Loesch. Hey, this Thursday we're celebrating the 20th anniversary of the debut of the Clements Famous Racing Sausages with a special early morning event at North Point Custard for the first 250 fans. You'll get a limited edition T-shirt, breakfast sausage sandwich, and it's all free. For details, visit brewers.com/sausages20.
See the Polish tonight? He was flying. Man, that's picking him up and putting him down. He almost ran over Garth Orge.
He's still basking in the glory of Polish Heritage Day on Sunday.
Yes. Pivo Vaza. Sean Camp, next man out of the Cubs bullpen, as Aoki shoots one into left field, a base hit. Nori Aoki on base for the 3rd time tonight. That's his first hit. Has a single and a walk and a fielder's choice. And that'll bring up Segura. He has hit the ball on the barrel all 3 times tonight. He's 1 for 3. Had a double, an RBI, and a run scored in the 5th. You see his night at the plate, presented by Wendy's.
Everything to the opposite field tonight. That's what you love about Segura. Doesn't try and pull the baseball.
And now Camp throws it away, and Aoki on his way to second base. Aoki's already been picked off once. Was it about to do it again? That'll be a throwing error on the pitcher Camp.
Yeah, 58th error committed by the Chicago Cubs. That's dead last in the National League. And that one not even close, and Aoki now in scoring position. And Brewers 3 for 6 with runners in scoring position tonight. And make that 4 for 6.
Segura takes a strike. First base umpire is Paul Schreiber. Get out of the way. Oh boy. See the vertical? Paul Schreiber right there.
Well done. Always have to be ready.
And a well-deserved piece of chewing gum. Segura bounces it over to Rizzo. That will advance Aoki to 3rd. And 1 gone here in the 7th inning. Throw to first. Gets off the glove of Rizzo. Look at that. That's way up there, man.
That's not bad for a guy standing there not expecting to have to do that.
Now we kick because we care. Fine umpire, Paul Schreiber. He did a good job getting out of the way. Part of the field of play, the umpire. So if that ball hits him, pretty good chance Aoki is unable to advance to second base. Well, the Cubs have their infield in once again. Lucroy up. He's got a chance to add to his RBI night. He had a 2 RBI single in the 5th.
Well, he got a slider up in the strike zone and hooked it down the line. Sean Camp is going to throw him some sliders.
That was a big hit for the Brewers. That was a 2-out run producing hit. Made it 6-3 at the time. Lucroy is the club leader in runs batted in. .42 ribbies now. Foul territory. That'll slice in the seats. Here's another guy that went through some early season struggles. Hit his way out of it. Jonathan Lucroy. led the Brewers in hitting last year, hit .320. Played in just 96 games. He missed 6 weeks with a hand injury, had a broken hand. Most runs he's ever driven in a season, 59. That was in 2011. Bouncing ball, and Aoki going to be in a rundown. Lucroy still running, and Aoki tagged out. So Aoki cut down for the second out of the inning.
1-2 to 5-1 on the put out. A few too many throws for a runner in a pickle. Yeah, 1-2 to 5, and you never want to have your pitcher involved in a rundown. Well, Camp ends up tagging out Aoki.
It looked like Aoki was running on contact.
And Lucroy able to get into second base. You stay in a rundown long enough for a batter to be able to advance a base, and Aoki did that.
Ho-Chunk Gaming text question: do players know when they are approaching milestones? Leanne in Milwaukee. I think significant milestones like Ramirez is approaching 2,000 hits. He certainly knows, and it's been talked about. And I think the bigger numbers you're aware of.
1,000 strikeouts. I would imagine Giovanni knew about that when he achieved that milestone in Miami. If they read the game notes, they know. And most players do. They have a good sense of what are in the game notes. I know that they read the visiting game notes quite a bit, just to get some type of a sense on who's hot, who's not.
Ramirez to short. Ransom will make the play, and Aramis is 0 for 4 tonight on his birthday. Well, the Brewers come up empty in the 7th, still leading 8-3.
Brewers on our Tweet for Sweet Night. We've been hanging out with fans in our Fox Sports Wisconsin suite, and we take a look at the results of our AT&T Twitter poll. We've been asking Brewers fans what makes Gene Segura most all-star worthy, and here are the results. 49% said his offense, his RBI double, good for his 100th hit of the season. 32% said his speed with 23 stolen bases, and 19% said his defense. Guys, I'm kind of surprised by that defensive number. I feel like every night he gives us some sort of web gem highlight to look at.
Well, he does indeed, but I understand the thinking there. You got to hit a little to get recognized, and
I think the speed has a lot to do with his batting average. All the infield hits, I think that's helped that average stay above that 330 mark. And nice play tonight on a pop-up into short left field.
Well, a reminder that this copyrighted telecast is presented by authority of the Brewers, may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without express written consent of the Brewers. Kyle Loesch is out. 7 innings, 3 runs allowed. And Michael Gonzalez is in. Nate Scherholtz will lead off. See the numbers on Gonzalez. Scherholtz responsible for all 3 runs tonight. 3-run home run off Loesch in the 3rd inning. It put the Cubs ahead 3-1 at the time. But the Brewers have scored 7 unanswered. They had 5 runs in the 5th inning, scored 2 in the 6th. Off the end of the bat. High fly ball out to Aoki. And 1 gone.
Yeah, Kyle Loesch had to earn those 7 innings tonight. I mean, the Cubs had men in scoring position every inning except the 7th. But he made his pitches when he needed them. You know, Chicago only 1 for 10 with runners in scoring position tonight, and that one hit the home run. So able to get himself in trouble and get out of trouble for the most part.
Here's Soriano now. Checking some other scores around baseball. Cardinals are in Houston tonight. St. Louis leading 11-4. St. Louis is the division winner, but they've got the Pittsburgh Pirates clipping at their heels. Cardinals and the Pirates involved in interleague play tonight. Pittsburgh is in Seattle. 2-0 lead for the Buccos over the Mariners. That game's just underway in the 2nd. And the Cardinals winning big over the Astros in the 7th, 11-4.
Yeah, the Pirates have won 4 in a row before today's game, and the Cardinals had lost 3 straight. You know, getting the Pirates right back in it. Brewers are going to see the Pirates in Pittsburgh over the weekend.
A swing and a miss. 2-2 on Soriano. Well, the Pirates swept the Angels. Pittsburgh looks like they are for real this year. They're 16 games over 500. As Gonzalez falls down. That is not the ideal fielding position after you throw a pitch.
No, you don't. You wouldn't want to teach that.
That's very Mitch Williams like. And a called strike 3. Soriano is rung up.
Yeah, good slider from Gonzalez.
Stayed on his feet after that pitch.
Yeah, right on the corner, down and in. That's where you want that slider to end up. Left-hander versus right-handed batter. Gonzalez hasn't had too many bad outings. He gave up that home run to end that game in Houston, but other than that, I mean, since May started, he's been lights out.
And pitching a lot as well, which is what he likes to do. This is his 40th game tonight. 2nd in the National League. He's tied with Brad Ziegler of the Diamondbacks. Anthony Rizzo, and a ball and a strike. Other team in the division, the Reds, are in Oakland tonight. A's lead 2-0 over Cincinnati. So a tour of the American League West for all of the other teams in the division besides these two. Tell you what, the American League West is turning out to be a tough division this season. Texas and Oakland especially. Soft liner out to Weeks to end the inning, and Gonzalez retires him in order.
off this inning. He's had a big night. Finally, at his first home run at Miller Park.
That's right. You know, it was a real moonshot, but the fact is, this guy's got power. They're looking more from this young man.
Our Marshfield Clinic shining moment goes to Ricky Weeks in this game, and Ricky Weeks with a big night. Brewers batting very well here tonight against the Cubs after trailing 3-1 in this game. It was Ricky Weeks, his 7th home run. This one came in the 6th inning, a 2-run pop. He's hit the ball very well. 3 RBIs, also a double for Ricky Weeks tonight. Brian?
All right, Craig and Davey, thanks. Looking forward to Brewers Live postgame coming up after this one. Bottom of the 8th, Francisco leads off. Yeah, Francisco and Weeks have done a lot of damage tonight. Juan has been on all 3 times. A home run, a double, and a walk. He scored 3 runs. Weeks is 2 for 3. With 2 runs scored and 3 runs batted in. Caleb Gendel with his first Major League RBI tonight. Lucroy drove in a pair. Now tied with Molina for most RBIs by a catcher in the National League, Jonathan Lucroy. Two and one on Francisco. And he pops this one up left field. One gone. Miller Lite, what's on tap? Tomorrow, Scott Feldman. Been pitching very well this year for the Cubs. The record doesn't show it, but a 3.39 ERA. And Giovanni Gallardo, who is on a great run on the mound for the Brewers. That last road trip, he was outstanding in his 3 starts. Each pitcher 6 and 6. Here's Weeks. A breaking ball in there for a strike. Gallardo coming off that start last Thursday in Houston. He took a no decision. Brewers lost that game in 10 innings. Giovanni did not allow an earned run. And had his scoreless inning streak snapped at 18. As Weeks hits that one high and deep to center field. Did he get enough? You bet. Ricky Weeks. What a night. His 3rd hit. And look at that smile on Johnny Naren's face. 2nd home run of the night for Weeks. And now 4 runs batted in.
He didn't miss a home run by much his first time up either. A fly ball deep to right field. Good for Ricky.
Makes it 9-3 Milwaukee.
And you love his approach. And you talk about it and you think about it, you work on it to try and drive that ball to center and into right center, and Ricky Weeks reaping the benefits of all that hard work.
Well, now 8 home runs for the year. Weeks with 19 runs batted in, 4 of them coming tonight.
Just staying back, letting the ball get to him, and putting a good swing on it. That was a changeup actually to Weeks. 81 miles an hour from Sean Camp.
7th time in his career he's hit at least 2 homers in a game. It's got to be very satisfying to Weeks. But in all that time, and see the results tonight. 0-2 on Schaefer. That ball is hit into right center. Playable for Scherholtz for out number 2.
Yeah, in theory, it's easy to understand, and the concept fairly simple, just to wait back and drive the ball to the opposite field. But it's tough to do when you're up there at the plate and you've been scuffling. You want to jump out, you want to go get the baseball, and that's the last thing you want to do. As Johnny Naren and John Shelby, the hitting coaches, giving themselves a verbal high five. Good job with Ricky today. They don't answer the questions about a guy when he's swinging the bat well. They're on the hot seat when they're not swinging the bat.
I can't think of two more positive guys in the world than those two.
It's good to get shots of those guys when things are going well.
That's right. A big part of it. Now Weeks makes it 9-3. Berg Badenhop getting loose in the bullpen. And Gonzalez with the scoreless eighth. We'll certainly needed a night like this. They're coming off a series win against the Braves. Had some tight games in that series. Back-to-back 2-0 wins for Milwaukee.
Playing some decent baseball lately. I mean, really have. And under the circumstances, all the guys that have been out.
Been some inconsistency there, but the Brewers able to bounce back after that series loss in Houston. Just keep winning series. That's the idea. Brewers certainly need a winning streak. They need a Toronto Blue Jays like winning streak.
Yeah, winning streak like the one they put together in what, April?
Yeah, they won 9 in a row, and the Cubs were a part of that. Brewers swept the Giants and the Cubs on a homestand in April, and then won the first 2 games in San Diego. A 9-game winning streak. Blue Jays just finished an 11-game winning streak. It got them back in the mix in the American League East. Gendel with another hit. He has 2 tonight. And his first multi-hit game in the big leagues. Drove in his first RBI in the 5th inning, and now a 2-for-4 night for Caleb Gendel. A 2-out single.
An awful lot of opposite field and up the middle base hits for the Brewers tonight. Very good approach to putting on the baseball. So LaCroix, his base hit to score a couple of runs went to left. Francisco pulled his home run. And I think that was it as far as base hits that came to the pull side. Francisco had a double to right, so 3.
Scooter Gennett pinch hitting.
A double for Ricky in left center. I'm going to call that more in center than left.
I like that.
So we're talking about 3 of the 11 hits.
That's an up the middle approach.
Right.
Gennett gets jammed and bobbled briefly, but Barney takes care of Gennett to end the inning, and we head to the 9th. But Ricky Weeks having a great night at the ballpark tonight. A breakout night for Weeks. He continues his red hot month of June. Second home run of the night makes it 9-3.
Leads at 9-3 here in the top of the 9th inning. Do you want to learn the basics of baseball? Stay tuned to the Brewers Live post-game show as we break down the techniques and strategies of the game. In tonight's post-game instructional, we look at hitting tips. Johnny Nairn will join our own Bill Schroeder to talk hitting, and I'm pretty sure they may have to talk about this guy here tonight in Ricky Weeks. B.A.?
Yeah, he is certainly the headliner tonight in what has been a breakout offensive performance. Ricky Weeks hitting over 400 in the month of June, and his 2 home runs tonight, driving in 4 runs. And the Brewers will turn it over to Bert Badenhop for the 9th inning.
And 37th appearance for Bert Badenhop, a 1-3 record, a .351 earned run average. Last pitched on Saturday against the Braves and picked up his first win as a Brewer. It's an inning and a third of scoreless baseball. And he picked up Donovan Hand in his first major league start.
Well, Kyle Loesch started tonight. He went 7 innings, 8 hits, 3 runs, no walks, 3 strikeouts. Loesch has now thrown 5 consecutive quality starts, and his ERA is around 2.5 during that stretch. Sweeney pops up for out number 1. This game started with a couple of base running blunders by the Brewers. They had 2 runners picked off first base. And the Cubs had a 3-1 lead going to the 5th, but then a 5-run outburst by Milwaukee. Brewers batted around in that inning. 5 runs on 4 hits against Edwin Jackson, and have never looked back. Home runs from Francisco and Weeks. Weeks with a pair. Even Kyle Loesch with a hit tonight. It was 1 for 2. And a terrific job on the mound. Two more outs. Loesch will pick up his 3rd win. Beat the Padres, the Phillies, and is in line to win this one against the Cubs. Be a 2nd win in the month of June as well. Into center field, right at Schaefer for out number 2. Castillo lines out, and the Cubs are down to their last out. Don't forget, tomorrow it's Gallardo on the mound for the Brew Crew. Scott Feldman, his opponent. Airtime 6:30 for Brewers Live. Wednesday night at Miller Park. And then Thursday is a day game. Peralta and Garza. That's a 12:30 airtime, and then the Brewers will hit the road. 7-game road trip through Pittsburgh and Washington. Stay tuned for Brewers Live following the game. And hear the reaction. I'm sure Telly will try to get Ricky Weeks. Interested to hear his thoughts on what has been a difficult start to the season, but June has been a completely different story for him. Ended up in a platoon with Scooter Gennett. I think the days off did him well. Now a confident hitter at the plate. One and 2. Ransom looks at a breaking ball away. Good night to talk hitting in our post-game instructional, too.
Yeah.
Good
Johnny
foreshadowing by you and Johnny Nairn.
Yeah, you never know. You get lucky once in a while. Johnny Nairn is taking, I mean, it's a science with him. I mean, he's got a program that, you know, he's very consistent in his approach, and he's been able to come up with new ideas and new ways to even make an offer, you know, a positive experience for a hitter.
The game within the game. The Brewers have done some 2-out hitting tonight. They've been successful with runners in scoring position. It's been a good night for Milwaukee. A couple of base running mistakes, but overall very good, and giving Kyle Loesch a lot of runs tonight, something he has not been accustomed to this year. The jam shot to Segura, and a strong throw gets him. The Brewers win tonight. They beat the Cubs. Milwaukee has won 9 in a row against Chicago, and they have won 19 of their last 21 games against the Cubs at Miller Park. Loesch the winner, 3-6. Edwin Jackson drops to 3-10 as the Brewers defeat the Cubs 9-3. And we check in with Craig Cashon. It's time for Brewers Live.
All right, Brian, thanks very much. What a win for Milwaukee. They trailed at 1 point early in this game, but had a big inning. We'll talk about that fifth when we come